We are gonna make a DIY octopus costume. Whatever color you want it to be, you need a solid colored shirt and pants. We're gonna make the octopus legs and a hat to go with it for your full octopus costume. Wanna see how it's gonna look? For our octopus costume, you will need some knit fabric, some elastic, and some stuffing. I am making mine to hook onto a belt rather than hooking it onto the shirt so that my son can just wear a regular solid colored shirt. But you can attach these directly to a shirt so that it's more of a one-piece costume. So what we're going to make right now are the octopus tentacles. You will need to cut your knit fabric into a shape that's sort of like a bullet kind of shape. So it's going to be tapered down, not quite to a point, but sort of a rounded edge at the bottom. I am actually using some scraps from t-shirts, some actual t-shirts, made a t-shirt quilt, and the sleeves and the back pieces that didn't have any design or color on them, I've saved those, and that's what I'm using. So my tentacles are all going to be a little bit different size and shape, and that's okay, and maybe slightly different shades of blue, but that's what I'm using. So some of mine are longer and some of mine are shorter. After we put the elastic in them, they're going to kind of curl up to make those sort of curled legs that octopus have. So this is what one looks like after the elastic's in it. We're going to stuff it a little bit to give it some body. So this is what the finished one is going to look like. So I'm going to cut one right now and we will get started. So this is a sleeve from a t-shirt, so you can tell. So I'm going to cut this apart so it's a flat piece. I'm going to cut it right beside the seam so I can save as much fabric as I can. So now on my sleeve, I'm going to fold it in half. And this is going to be one of my smaller octopus legs, and that's just fine. So I'm going to cut it straight across on one end. I'm going to cut it straight down as far as I can, maybe about a few inches away from the edge. And then I'm going to start to curve it towards that center fold line. Alright, so this is what it looks like folded in half. So that's what your pieces are going to look like. You'll open them up. We're going to sew elastic down the center here. That'll pull up and make this curved area. Then we're going to stitch them together and then stuff them. So I'm going to make one right now, and then I'll get all the other ones put together to assemble the costume. So I'm also using leftover elastic. So I have black. If this isn't enough, then I've got some white I'm going to mix in here too because it's not going to show. So this small tentacle I'm going to do right now, this one is really good. And it's not quite 15 inches long, and it's about almost 6 inches wide. Now, if you're making an adult costume, you may want to make them all a little bit longer than this. That's up to you. I'm going to cut my elastic, let's see, maybe about 8 inches long. And as you sew, you can kind of decide if you want your elastic to get pulled tighter, if you want it a little bit looser. The tighter that you pull it, the more this will curl up. So keep that in mind. All right, so if your fabric has a right and wrong side, on the wrong side or the inside of your fabric, you're going to put the elastic not quite all the way down to the edge, maybe about a half an inch or an inch away. It doesn't have to be exact. You're going to, here, let me show you. So you're going to put your elastic straight up and down vertically in the center of that. So we're going to top stitch, not top stitch, we're going to back stitch this front edge. All right, and go a few stitches, and then now you're going to pull your elastic and pull it while you're sewing it. You can see it already starting to curl up. Let me trim these threads off. So it's sewed together. Now I've got to turn it right side out. There we go. We're going to put some stuffing down in here to give it a little bit of body. And again, you don't need to come all the way up to the top because this is where we're going to attach it either to the shirt, or if you want to put it through a belt, you need to leave enough space to loop it over and for the belt to fit through. So don't stuff it all the way to the top. So there's another one, stuffed and finished. T-shirt or knit fabric does not ravel, so you do not have to do anything special to the top edge. It won't ravel. So it's ready now for you to either sew it directly to the shirt or to fold it over, and remember to leave space inside if you're going to pass a belt through here. So you can make them face different directions if you want to, you know, stitch it over this way so that some of them are kind of curved out, some will be curved, you know, left and right in all different directions to give it that sort of organic, actual octopus look. So you need 8 of them. Get all those together and then put it onto your either belt or shirt, and your octopus body is done. We're ready to make our octopus hat, which will have the eyes on it. So I have just a plain old knit beanie hat and the color that matches my costume. I'm using scraps. I've got just some little pieces of white felt and a dark gray or a black felt for the eyes. If you want to put a colored part like the iris of the eye, you can do that as well. It works either way. So octopus have kind of big eyes. So I've got a cup I'm going to trace, and I'm going to trace the bigger end to make the white part of the eye. I'm going to lightly trace it onto my felt so I can see my circle I want to cut. All right. So I've got 2 white circles. If you can see those lightly traced on there, I'm going to cut around both of those. For the inside part of my eye, I have a real tiny piece of felt, and I've got 1/4, and I'm just going to fold it in half so I can get them both at one time, and I'm going to cut around the edge of this 1/4. It might not be a perfect circle, but it's going to be close enough rather than me trying to figure out how to trace it and be able to see it on this dark color. So I'm going to cut these out and then we'll attach them together. So I've got my 2 eyes cut out. I'm going to machine stitch the dark part onto the white part. If you're more comfortable hand stitching it, do whichever works for you. So my 2 eyes are ready. I'm going to get a needle and thread, and I am going to hand stitch them onto my hat, just because I want to allow there to still be stretchy room in there. So I don't want them to be too tightly stitched to the hat. So I'm going to grab my needle and some white thread, and I'm going to loosely hand stitch these, not too loosely, but loosely hand stitch these onto the hat. Your octopus hat is finished and ready to go. I have all my octopus legs, tentacles finished. I hemmed the top of mine with a really wide hem so that I can just slip it onto the belt. So let me add this one, and I tried to kind of twist them different ways so they weren't all, turned exactly the same way. So then just add them to your belt. There you go. Got your octopus legs, octopus hat, add solid shirts and solid pants, and you're ready to go. I hope you enjoy this costume. Please visit some of my other videos here on YouTube for some more DIY ideas. We also have a shop where we sell holiday decor, so go check us out too. You can find me online everywhere at Belle by Jessie.
And also like and subscribe. Yeah, so like and subscribe.
Thanks, boys.